Hello my beautiful friends. So in today's session, I have channeled the Galactic Federation and I've channeled about three things in particular, okay? So the three things, which I have channeled about, and before I explain to you the three things, I want to wish all of you a happy new year. And in today's session, I have channeled the Galactic Federation to ask about, specifically about, channeling, okay? Like how you can become a channeler. And the information is like really deep and intensive, so this may be considered as an intensive guide for channeling. So if you want to become a channeler or if you want to do channeling, this is an intensive guide. I found the information really useful and really helpful for not only how the channeling works and how we can communicate with other beings. What is the process? This may be you will understand it, okay? This is like really a beautiful session. It is explained so much in detail in today's session. And the other thing that I found really fascinating about the thing about what they talk about is the past life of the soul swap entity. Okay, now they had stated in one of my previous sessions that I had undergone a soul swap, okay, and I always wanted to know the identity of the entity who had soul swapped with me. Okay, since I became a channeler, right, I wanted to know the identity, and I found out that this information really blew my mind. Okay, like I'm telling you, this will blow your mind away when you know how this thing happened. And it's crazy. Okay? This is like really crazy to find out what actually is happening. And it is also related with another person. Okay, I found out, I searched on the internet. There is a person known as Jane Roberts. Okay, but she is not here on this planet right now. She also was a channeler. I had heard about her. I didn't consider her as a channeler, but she was a channeler. So this is crazy. So they talk about this in the session, and also towards the end of the session, they talk about towards the end of the session, they talk about the meeting of the Cabal leaders with the extraterrestrials, in Antarctica, okay, and what they have planned. I don't know why, but there are not many people talking about this. I feel this is really important. What they are trying to do is crazy. You will be like, oh my God, they're trying to do this, and I'm telling you, they're trying to do this. Okay, if we are not very careful of our free will, they will try to do this. So listen to the session and be careful. This is also like they have given a warning to all light workers, that these negative beings, they're trying to do this. So we need to be extra careful in the coming days. Okay, so anyways, here's the session, my friends, after which I will give you my understanding of the session. Enjoy.
We are the Galactic Federation who are now speaking through this channel's voice. By using the language patterns of your planetary sphere, our communication is now occurring via the process of osmosis of our thought forms, which may be considered as a type of communication system which has been granted permission by the Council to operate upon your current planetary sphere of the beginning sub-octave of fourth density vibration, allowing you to recognize the dual nature of consciousness in this planetary sphere. For upon this planetary sphere you will find all types of information you seek and desire to ponder upon, because your desire and your vibration will emit such a pattern as to attract the type of information which you want to, and which will be useful to your soul's evolutionary cycle and act as a catalyst for your emerging soul's evolution into the fourth density vibration. We as the Galactic Federation have spotted many of the so-called negatively oriented entities upon your planet. Also, however, before we start to share information pertaining to such insights, there must be discernment exercised by your people, because without discernment, our words will be useless, for your soul's evolutionary pattern will be dictated by our words and belief system, which we do not want to infringe upon your planetary vibration of choosing and the right of exercising this free will of entry into the higher vibration that you desire to experience. We are now communicating, and we are now scanning this instrument's mind complex for the queries which have been placed upon by this instrument towards our collective consciousness to address, in order for the collective consciousness of your human collective to understand information regarding such aspects. The first query upon scanning the mind complex of the instrument has been located, which pertains to the aspect as known by your people as how entities upon your planets can become a channeling instrument similar to this channel who has opened its vibrations to receive such guidance from us. The first prerequisite for such channeling sessions to occur is that there must be ample protection upon these sessions which is being conducted. Such protections may be in the form of love light exposed water, following which there may be other procedures of belief systems appropriate for such channels of instruments. Who decide to channel and to become channels must also spend a large amount of time learning to disassociate their egoic self, because many a times during such channeling sessions there may be intrusions by the egoic mind which may emerge in the middle of such channeling sessions, adding information pertaining to its own emergence or the benefit of the egoic aspect. We have also sensed that this instrument has had this process of learning during the time period when it was focused on learning self-hypnosis as known by your people's vibration patterns. During that period, it was able to objectively understand that the relationship between the conscious and the subconscious was the doorway which allows the gateway of intelligent energy to open. This is the time wherein which such entities who are desirous of becoming channelers can act upon this type of vibration. It is a type of sleep-like state wherein there is lack of egoic self. However, the instrument or the vessel in question which can act as a channel is open to receive any vibrations being tuned upon. However, the process of channeling may also be a dangerous process, for many entities upon your planet may invite such entities from the inner earth planes or from other dimensions which may be acting as the hostages, or they may take such souls as hosts and preventing such free will to occur, meaning that there may be an intrusion and possession which can occur of such entities. Therefore, the first precaution that needs to be taken by such entities is to cleanse the location in which such channelings is to be performed, as well as providing ample protection of love light energy by using love light exposed water as well as love light exposed words, which may be in the form of a religious book which such entity believes upon, because it is just the belief that matters, not the book in question, as all the belief systems of religion are based upon only your subconscious beliefs which give them power, because there is no outside religious force or outside entity or known as the creator, because the creator is within you. And such ample protections may be taken by every entity desirous of being a channel, and the focus on the transcendence from the egoic aspect of the yellow ray and the orange ray aspect is required, which gives the open channel to provide the vibration necessary to receive information and insights from other timelines and densities. Also remember that during the process of channeling, there may be two types of channeling in question. One is the wideband channeling, wherein such entities who offer wideband channeling, such as the angelic beings and other entities of a lower density, are highly available, can be accessed by many entities upon your planetary sphere, even without the process of entering into a sleep-like state. This can be accomplished by those beings who offer and practice the aspect known as the waking channeling, wherein the conscious mind can be shut out in order to receive such information directly during such channeling events. following the pathway of understanding and allowing for the depths of creation of such beingness and such entities, which also gives rise to the entities mind, body and spirit complex to receive such information as may be useful for the queries placed by such instruments can be answered. Furthermore, there is one aspect which must be understood by those entities who desire to be a channel of communication, and that is every word, every image, and every thought form, and every situation inside the mind complex has a vibration. For example, if you were to remember a certain entity's image, whether it be a friend's image or someone you like, there is a certain vibration, and in contrast, if you look at the vibration of an entity you do not like, such as your so-called enemies upon your current space-time, then your vibrations change will be noticed by your awareness. For this type of awareness is extremely required for such entities who become channelers in order to prevent intrusion from other negatively oriented entities, because this will allow them to sense the vibration of such entities. And when such entities who are ready to receive information from other channels or other densities of vibration can tune into such a vibration by holding the image or by holding the vibratory sound complex of words, which also have a certain vibration. For each entity has a vibration which can be then tuned upon and acted as a channel if the communication is allowed by the council. For there are channelers upon your planets who have also been channeling their egoic aspect, which is different from the channeling which occurs when there is no egoic aspect present, for there is no intrusion of the self within the self, and the information coming is of a pure nature. As such, there is also need for discernment, even though the message may be pure, because of the language of your planetary sphere does not allow full communications to occur in the space-time, as your language is highly deficient in the true meaning of providing experiences of intonation, language, and the feelings and emotions which mostly cannot be conveyed by your language, and also the type of situation from which such events have been communicated cannot be communicated. Hence there is a need for discernment, like we always suggest. The second query placed by this instrument's mind, body and spirit complex pertains to the understanding of the aspect known as its past incarnation of the soul, which soul swapped with this being, with this entity, and then became a channel. In this regard, we are now going to share with you space-time continuum information from one timeline of the soul-swapped entity for this instrument's vibration desires to understand this aspect. This soul-swapped entity began in the galaxy known by your people in your current vibratory sound complex terms as Cigar Galaxy. In the first density, consciousness spending its timeline as a gas element. In the gaseous nature of the galaxy, there are less amounts of planets in that galaxy. Therefore, this entity spent its form in the gaseous nature and was given the soul name of Tritar in the Cigar Galaxy, which occurred around 7.9 million years prior to this current space-time continuum of which we are now communicating into. This further gave this entity the experience of beingness as it then merged into a gaseous nature of more solid type, leading into the formation of a stone-like entity, leading it to experience the red ray balancing and the activation of the red ray energy center. And then after entered into the second density vibration, wherein it spent its time mostly as a flying tree element. Such tree elements can be found upon that galaxy, floating upon the space elements, wherein there are small planetary systems or small habitable zones created from the gaseous nature, which produce the atmosphere and provide the suitable environment for such trees to occur in that space-time, which allowed this entity to experience the second density lessons of movement and growth for a period of around 155,000 years. However, this experience was not of a greatly appreciated nature by its soul because of the constant disintegration which it faced, as the atmosphere was not suitable many a times for the evolution and continuation of its pathway. Hence, for the proper pathway of continuation, it was transported to the planet known as Venus, upon your planetary sphere, wherein it spent its time as an animal life form in the later second density consciousness resembling the foxes which can be found upon your planet, trying to understand the societal interaction. However, this occurred without any self-awareness, but the activation of the yellow ray into the true color, yellow ray energy center, and the merging towards the third density had occurred, leading it to encounter the third density vibration of choice and choosing the pathway of polarity, giving rise to the choice of choosing the pathway, which allowed this entity to further fruition and learn the lessons of love light as it began to experience the density and the choice of experiencing the understanding of choosing the pathway of polarity between service to others and service to self. This entity was guided by many of the Venusian raw collective and that space-time consciousness, which allowed this entity's progress to be faster in that incarnation. However, it still faced many negative challenges, but in the long run, it chose to be of a service to others' nature. This entity then was transported to the planets known by your people as the Arcturus B planetary sphere in the Arcturian star system, wherein it spent around 75 incarnation cycles in the later third density vibration, similar to that as can be found upon the current space-time of the Earth planets, which allowed it to learn the lessons of merging from the yellow ray into the green ray energy center of the heart, providing it with the necessary experiences as it tended towards the intelligent infinity, and was then transported as a wanderer to the Earth planets. This entity then incarnated as a wanderer, as a soul-swapped entity, firstly in the space-time illusion complex known by your people. For the entity, there was another entity which it soul-swapped with. This entity had incarnated on 1929 in your space-time illusion complex of your current timeline and was known by the vibratory sound complex of Jane Roberts. This entity known as Jane Roberts also had a soul swap with this entity of fourth density nature, which then acted as a channel for the creation of the material, which provided information upon your spacetime about the existence of the soul's nature and the true inner nature of the soul, and gave rise to the material as known by your people as the Seth Material, which has provided huge amounts of influences of positive nature towards the people's understanding of your true nature. This entity then crossed over on the timeline of 1984. At the space-time, this entity was waiting for another entity of appropriate vibration to share and to act as a channel again of information, because this entity's vibration was of a highly rapid nature of communication, as it had mastered the ability of dislocating its consciousness and also had mastered the ability of channeling entities from higher densities. Furthermore, this was allowed by the Council of Planets which governed this galaxy, and this entity soul-swapped with this instrument in this current space-time. Hence, this instrument has acted as a channel for seeing the future and also many a times communicating with higher density beings. For this communication is also occurring in such a manner. Therefore, this is the soul evolutionary cycle of the soul-swapped soul, which has now taken part in this service to others through this instrument's vibration. Furthermore, the final query we can scan upon this instrument's mind complex pertains to the understanding of whether a meeting of the so-called Cabal leaders of your planets with extraterrestrial entities occurred on the lands known as Antarctica. This meeting has occurred on the day and time as known by your people as 31st of December. For these entities, or the so-called negatively oriented entities who are the elites upon your planets, have gathered and had gathered together in the lands known as Antarctica for meeting with their so-called robotic entities who are part of the Orion, Anunnaki, Reptilian, and the Grey Collective, and these Orion, Anunnaki, Reptilian collectives appeared in form of a astral projected entity by using robotic entities in that space-time. Furthermore, upon our encounter with these entities by the Ashtar Collective, we have noticed that they are planning a final encounter of spiritual battle upon your planet. Since the Earth is now in the positive polarity, they have planned to infringe upon the free will of the planetary sphere by creating devices known as nanochips, which in the future, if not resisted upon by your planets or people, will be inserted inside your people's bodily complex, thereby understanding the nature of vibration of each entity. And specifically, their objective is to target the light workers who are acting as light grids upon the planet. Hence, this is their choice, and this is what they are trying to do upon your planetary sphere. They're also planning to create new technologies such as the robotic entities, which have consciousness given from the grey reptilian entities, and these grey reptilian entities will then transmute their consciousness into such robotic entities. Thereby, there can be negatively oriented robotic entities being infringed and influenced and sent upon your planets, being totally controlled by the negatively oriented entities, which can also create havoc upon your planetary sphere. Hence, this may be a warning to your planets to not engage in such activities as the implanting of chips upon your bodily complex, and also the creation of robotic artificial intelligence may be hijacked by such Orion collectives. Hence, this is the information that we come here to share. Your free will is highly appreciated, and your time is also appreciated. We leave you now. We are the Galactic Federation. Bye.
So after watching the session, my friends, I hope you got a general understanding of how you can become a channeler, okay? And one of the things that I really found interesting about the channeling aspect, okay, which I think many people, they don't talk about this, okay? They don't say that channeling can be dangerous as well. And they have stated in this session that channeling can be dangerous, okay? Look, I don't know how other people are channeling, but I am always taking my protection, okay? I'm not like, going into my channeling session without doing protection work or stuff like that. I am always protecting myself, because I feel that it is very important to protect my own self, because without, protecting my own energy, then, of course, I cannot channel properly, right? So what I do is, as it is explained in the session, they talk about how we can use love light exposed water to act as a protection mechanism. So I do the same thing, okay? I expose the water with love and light, and then I drink it, and then I rub it throughout my body. That's how I protect myself. And the other thing I do is I have to perform the banishing ritual in every 6 months. I performed once a long time back. It's like 6 months now, so I think I should perform in the coming days. So we need to do that, okay, as a channeler. This is very, very important, and most people, they don't talk about this. They say, hey, channeling, let's channel, right? But what if you are channeling, what happens when you get possessed? This is what they said. There is a danger that if a negative entity comes in, okay, if a negative entity, negative soul comes in while channeling, there is a chance that that soul will not go away. That soul will take you as a hostage, and you will be possessed. So in essence, there is a very high risk, okay, that if you don't do it properly, you could be possessed by someone else's soul, okay? So of course, you need to take protection like I do, okay? And if you watch the video, you know what to do now. So they also talk about, the type of channeling that is, I believe they said about the wideband channeling, and also they talk about how that every word, okay, how every word, how every image, how every thought we have in our mind has a certain vibration. So this is what they're saying, okay? The first important thing about, if you want to become a channeler, is you need to firstly enter into this type of meditative state wherein this egoic mind, okay, doesn't speak. So they also said in the session that there are many channelers, wherein their egoic mind comes in the middle of them channeling. So this is very, very you need to be very careful about this, because when your egoic mind comes in, it will add its own stuff, and it will not be a pure channel. So this is the reason why I prefer my method, okay? I'm not saying my method is the best, but it's really wonderful, because whenever I'm in trance, my egoic mind is off, right? I'm like sleeping, okay? There is no egoic mind, and whatever information comes from the vibration I'm tuning into. So to tune into the vibration, you need to have an image, of the entity you want to channel. For example, you want to channel the Galactic Federation, and you may have the image of Galactic Federation in your mind. You may have the image of how the Galactic Federation operates. Okay, you may have this experience of how the Galactic Federation is and how they're operating and stuff like that. So when you have the image of the Galactic Federation in your mind, now you can tune into that vibration. Okay, and also you can use the images also have a vibration, they said. For example, this is what I found very true for my own self. If I were to imagine my friend's picture in my mind, right? If I close my eyes, I imagine my friend's picture, and then there is a certain vibration. Okay, there's this loving kind of vibration, and if I imagine someone with whom I don't have a good experience, just the image, there is a different vibration. There's something different. Okay, it's in vibration. You cannot explain it in words. So in this manner you can communicate to higher beings. Okay, this is what they are saying. Okay, and the other thing, this one was really interesting, man. Like, wow. They talk about the soul swapped entity. I searched on the internet and I found out, I'll put it over here maybe, the information about Jane Roberts. I did not know that she was a channeler. I had heard about her. Many of you had commented on the videos in my past about Jane Roberts, but I didn't know she was a channeler. So I searched on the internet. Turns out she has written like, I believe it's a collection of channeling sessions known as the Seth Material. So this is crazy. Okay, this is mind-blowing. And they also explained how it is a soul swapped entity. Okay, Jane Roberts had a soul swap before she became a channeler. In a similar manner, I also had a soul swap last year with the same entity. I believe that is acting as a channel for sharing the information. So this is like, what can I say? This is like crazy, and at the same time this is mind-blowing. Okay, like, wow, right? I'm just blown away. And the other thing that I discovered, they said about the Cabal meeting in Antarctica, man. This is crazy. Okay, they said that they are trying to create some nanochip devices. I believe this is what they're trying to do in the future. Okay, they don't want us to win. They are specifically targeting light workers, so they are trying to put chips in our hands or chips in our body, or somewhere like that. We need to be very careful. They may force us to do that. This is not what we want. Okay, and this is, I believe, they have already explained to you what may happen. Okay, and the other thing they are saying is they have created some robotic entities. And I have noticed this, okay, that they are creating advanced robots, but the robotic entities, they can be hijacked with the negative entities. They don't respect free will, right? So they will enter into a robotic soul also. So this can be really dangerous. If we make some highly advanced robot and the negative entities consciousness comes in there, this will be really like the scary situation, because the robot will have consciousness of the Orions or whatever. Scary situation may happen. Okay, but I'm just saying we are now in the positive polarity, so we need to stay in the positive. This is just a type of what may happen in the future, so we need to be cautious. And anyways, I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you so much to all of you for joining me on Patreon, where I'm sharing uncensored content almost on a daily basis about channeling and stuff. And also I want to thank all of you for sharing and sending requests for your past life sessions. I will do your sessions as I get free time. So thank you so much once again, and see you in the next session. Bye bye.